Hi there, welcome to the Echo Team Podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and with me today is...
Hey guys, I'm Skybane Zero, manager of 100K, and I co-host these podcasts.
I'm Laron, aka Zetta. I'm in charge of promotional ideas for 100K.
Hi, I'm Nathan, resident wannabe game dev of 100 Strong, or 100,000 Strong.
Alright, and today we're going to talk about Morishita's new album with her songs Another Sun and Your Wind Is Blowing. And okay guys, first impressions.
I love
They
them.
rock. They just rock, I'm telling you.
I remember when she was asking for input on like how to go about rearranging these, what kind of feelings she wanted infused. I said something about like trying to make a song that would give us hope, because that's the kind of something the fan base really needs right now. And like I feel like she captured it to a T. It's just like it starts off with this like uprising thing, and it's just this constant stream of rocking awesomeness, and it makes me feel all kinds of warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, I was looking out for a lot of the suggestions that people were leaving on how she could improve those tracks, and I have to say, I noticed quite a bit. I noticed my own suggestion seemed to be taken into consideration. I mentioned something about Another Sun. I think I said something to the effect of take the heavy guitaring out of there at the beginning, and she actually did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it improved it greatly.
Well, it seems that my suggestions were not taken into consideration. I asked for it to be more dubstep, but no.
I was gonna say something about that.
Asked for more dubstep, that didn't happen, but I'm pretty pleased with what I heard. It seems, is it just me, or does the newer version of Another Sun seem a little slower?
It seems a bit slower, but it kind of reminds me of those, especially like a 90s anime sort of thing where, you know, it's really poppy, it's really trancey sort of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to me, I just think it's a lot more catchier the way it is now. Like, the original is still good, but this is just as good.
I guess it is a little bit slower.
I may be sounding stupid here, but the first round, when she first wrote Another Sun, wasn't it mostly for that TV commercial spot? So maybe it had to sort of been squished together in order to fit in that quick commercial, or to get enough of it out for the commercial to work. But now she's just releasing it as a standalone song, not tied to a commercial at all, so she has time to like just take her time and sing it the way she wants to sing it, I guess.
I suppose that's a possibility.
And what about Your Wind Is Blowing?
Oh, God.
I gotta admit, I haven't listened to that one as much as Another Sun, but it's still a good song. I think it's just that, like, Another Sun is the first one on the playlist, so I listen to that one more often, because I only usually have time for, like, one song before I go off and do something else.
I personally loved it. But, you know, there was one part which, you know, kind of, was an eye twitcher for me. At the end of the second plaza, there's kind of this round of instruments that I don't really know how to explain it, but it sounded kind of meh to me. Which, you know, I think the original instruments in that song sounded better, but, you know, it's still a very great song, and, you know, props to Morishita for doing that.
If nothing else, you cannot say that they are not worth $1 a piece.
Oh, heck no. Heck no.
Question, where did you guys end up buying your copies?
Amazon.
I got mine off Amazon.
Yes.
Amazon.
I mean, you know, I did make an iTunes account, but that was before I found out they would be offered on Amazon, so, you know, in the end I just bought it from Amazon, and I have a useless iTunes account now.
I was gonna get them off iTunes, because my sis has an account, I think, but, I bought some textbooks from Amazon for my, next round of classes, and they gave me, like, some free MP3 money or something like that, so I ended up spending that on the cards. I'm kind of worried, though. Like, I'm worried that since that was, like, free money from Amazon, somehow that money doesn't get to Miss Morishita, and then I'd feel like... Well, it'd be like buying a game used, but the developer desperately needs that money. Something.
I think they kind of keep a track of how much they expect to sell and kind of give her money based on that. I don't know, but
so she gets paid up front
like
or something.
Something like that, I think.
Nathan, if you feel so bad about it, why don't you just buy them again?
Because I have about $8 to hold me until the end of the year.
Oh.
buy 8 more copies then.
Yeah, it's not like $8 would come in handy for anything else, like an emergency train ticket home or something.
It's your initiation as the new admin.
Oh.
Yes.
So we're going to mention that in this podcast now?
Initiation.
But no... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, since you brought it up, I guess I might as well say, hi everybody at 100K, I'm an admin on the page now. Yippee skippy for me.
But no, going back to songs though again, like I said, I only really started listening to the originals when this movement started picking up, because I never even knew that at first that the Japanese had their own like intro theme, kind of like the old 90s animes and stuff like that. But, you know, by comparison, I do like these versions a lot more. Just, I don't know, just the whole feel to it kind of speaks on my level, I suppose I could put it that way.
Yeah, one thing that definitely seemed to me, it really seemed like Morishita put more energy into these songs. You know?
Yeah, I kind of felt that too. I mean, like, I kind of get the feeling that she made this for the fans. And
yeah.
Like, I remember some people were kind of cynical and they're like, oh, she's just trying to profit off all this Mega Man Legends business going on. She wants to make a quick buck off our fervor. But I feel like she really took it seriously and she really cared about the people she was writing this song for.
Yeah, I could really tell that Morishita put her whole heart and soul into these songs. I mean, you know, I don't know about you guys, obviously, well, except for you, Nathan, but, you know, when I was listening to these, I could just feel all these emotions coming from Morishita. I could feel her passion, I could feel her devotion, I could feel her love for these songs. It was almost like they were just overflowing as she sung. You know, you could really tell that she was greatly devoted to these songs, and she was really enjoying herself as she was singing them.
Well, you got 100,000 supporters too, like encouraging her. So I'm sure that played a huge role for her.
Not to mention the Japanese folks at One More Dash.
Oh yeah,
that is true.
They had a lot of articles that following up the whole album release recently.
And they're even doing their own campaign for her. They made their own banners, and they're supporting her with that.
Yeah, because if I remember right, they're really into the idea of having a CD release for these songs.
I don't know about that really, but I just know they're really supporting her.
I think that's it, pretty much for covering what the songs are about. Is there any additional notes?
Well,
I kind of want to see if she sung any other songs, like if I could get my hands on any of them.
Yeah, if you go to her YouTube channel, which I'm not sure if you guys have it, but I guess I can post it for you later. She has a number of different songs that she did around the time she was doing the originals of When Sun and Your Wind Is Blowing.
Were they for other games, or just songs for the sake of being songs?
I think they were just songs for the sake of being songs, but her first song was a song called Precious Love, and yeah, it was, I have to say, it was very good. Obviously I couldn't understand any of it, and no one took it upon themselves to translate it, but it was a very, very good song.
I think it's about love that is precious.
I don't know. Sounds like a bit of a leap there. But
Just trust me on this, guys.
I got $6 more on the Amazon MP3 whatevers, so might as well spend it on something. More of her songs sounds like a good place to start.
I'm not sure if she sold any.
I don't think they're on Amazon. I think just the two that she recently released. I don't see anything else for her.
Yeah, I did a search on her. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, sad face. Oh well.
Yeah. You can still listen to them though.
I'm sure she'll release some more eventually.
There's a joke somewhere in the title. Your Wind Is Blowing.
Oh, God.
She's Japanese. Take that into consideration.
A question. Between the original version and the newer versions, which ones do you like better? Or
I like the original version of Your Wind Is Blowing better. But for Another Sun, I like the newer version.
Your Wind Is Blowing, it's kind of like, for me, it's I can't really say I like one better than the other.
I'll be honest, I haven't really listened to the older versions that much, but I've been listening to the crap out of these newer ones, so...
But, no, Laron, you were saying you like them both equally?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I have a feeling that there are going to be, like, different camps for each song, but, like, I like both of them equally. Like, I'm going to compare this to another song. Like, Right Here by SWV, I like both the Human Nature mix and the original. but I like them for different reasons, and it's kind of the same way with Your Wind is Blowing.
For me, it's purely a matter of instruments. I like the instruments that she used in Another Sun better than the original, the newer Another Sun. But for Your Wind is Blowing, I think the instruments that she used in the original were better than the newer.
Specifically with me, at least with Another Sun, Your Wind is Blowing, I'm kind of about it, but I definitely like Another Sun, especially the newer one, because to make a comparison kind of like with Laron's, it's kind of like, for me, music-wise, like playing Mega Man, then going to the X series. It's just, one is really good, the other one's really good too, but there's just a bit more of the, like I said, instruments into it. It's just, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's just something more to it that makes it stand out as just like almost as if it was a different song.
Right, yeah.
Fingers crossed we'll be hearing some new music from her for Legends 3.
Do you mean intros?
No, in the sense that if it comes back, do you think she'll be part of it?
She actually said, I think, in the beginning of all this, that she really wanted to do the intros for Legends 3 if they came out.
She definitely was, from what I read. Yeah, she was hoping for it, and she's saying.
Was.
Alright, any additional notes? Because I think we more or less covered most of the...
Thank you, Mr. Morishita?
Yeah!
I should say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, where are our manners? Thank you, Reika.
I personally have been thanking her in English over her blog.
Maybe we should make a video with all of us saying thank you, like just in succession of thank you, thank you, thank you, or such. Or maybe even at an anime convention where if there's a group of like everyone with the serve bots, just say, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Arigato, Morishita-san.
Arigato gozaimasu. Okay. Tim's probably going to correct me on that. But...
Thank you.
We can say it perfectly fine in English, but no, we gotta make it sound Japanese. Wow.
That's what the master for. She won't be able to tell if we're from the States or Canada or Japan. Okay, now we're going to talk about crossover. We all pretty much have this expected. First impressions, guys.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, my first... bad. Just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, what I've read, it's basically Mega Man on a conveyor belt.
Yeah. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say I'm hardly surprised at this myself.
I'm gonna put on the optimism hat for a bit, since, gosh darn it, someone's got to. It's not a very good fit, but here goes. Maybe the playable gameplay they demonstrated at TGS was from like the first level, so it's obvious that it would be easy because the game's supposed to start out easy. And I don't think anyone really got to mess with the battle memory system they keep talking about. And like, you got some battle memory by defeating enemies, but the demo ended immediately after you fought Storm Eagle, so you didn't get a chance to use any of that battle memory. So maybe that will vary the game up in it a bit to make it not a horrible train wreck?
Okay, you've got to understand that this is what Capcom chose to show us. If there was something better, they would have shown it. I mean, when you're demonstrating your game, I mean, sure, you don't demonstrate it at the hardest part of said game, but you try and put your best foot forward. But if you're not putting any effort into developing your game, I mean, even if you do put your best foot forward, it's still not going to be that good.
Maybe they haven't developed later levels?
Well, I think it'd be more acceptable if everything that has happened hasn't happened. Because it could, like I said, I tried to keep a little positivity too. I'll, wait till I try it. But, yeah, just looking at it, I'm just like, it looks choppy and boring. A bit.
I think it was doomed from the start. Mega Man, iOS.
Well, there are good games on iOS. It's just, this doesn't seem like it's going to be one of them.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there are not good games on iOS, but what I'm saying is Mega Man isn't really a good fit. This is a series that needs buttons.
Well, something like the Battle Network or Star Force series might have worked on iOS.
That could have, but this is not the kind of that kind of Mega Man.
That would have actually been better if they released a Mega Man Battle Network collection for 3DS and iOS. That, in my opinion, would have been a better thing to do for the 25th.
A lot of people were asking for a Battle Network collection, if I remember right.
Yeah.
There was a couple Facebook pages about it. They didn't get too far, but there was a couple of them, and that's something you see every once in a while in Ask Capcom or something like that.
Right.
It's not really something I'm supporting, but yeah. I mean, it's not really something that I would...
I'd go for it. I mean, I haven't played the Battle Network series yet, but I wouldn't mind getting into it, but I don't really have a way to buy them that would actually... Well, on second thought, having a way to buy the Battle Network games that benefit Capcom, I'm not sure if that's actually a good thing.
Yeah. Battle Network is one of the only Mega Man series that, pushed past the million mark. I think it was 4 when they finally pushed past the million. But I've only played Battle Network 4 Red Sun. So, I mean, a collection wouldn't be too bad. And, I mean, it's completely possible on, the 3DS.
I tried the Battle Network games, but I personally did not like them, and I've been a Mega Man fan for pretty much as long as I've been playing video games. But you know what? I think it goes without saying that that's a whole different category of Mega Man. It's not really...
Some would say the same thing about Legends.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
It's kind of like what I mentioned in the sense, how you can take Mario and he's spinning, what is it? What was the GameCube game?
Sunshine?
Sunshine, yeah, Mario Sunshine, and then you have Mario Galaxy, then you have the classic side-scrollers. It's that sort of, yes, they're all Mario, but they're all different in their own way, and that's kind of how I view each of the Mega Man franchises. I played Battle Network when it first came out in the Game Boy Advance, and, it's kind of like what my impressions was of Legends when I first played it, because I was always used to Mega Man X. I liked it that was Mega Man, but yeah, it is different, and it could take some getting used to for some people.
Maybe, putting on the optimism hat again, maybe that'll be what Xover is. It's just the condensed, cheap mini Mega Man for people who like train rides. That'll be a different flavor.
They could have made his walking kind of better though. From what I'm told, it's kind of off, kind of like the Mega Man X for the iOS, which is funny because you think they'd learn that people didn't really like that version, not to go with it again.
Apparently, it actually made some decent money, from what I hear.
Oh,
despite our best efforts.
You got to the top of iOS rankings.
I'm thinking that the, Mega Man X port to iOS... Was that really a port? Because it looked like they redid everything.
Well...
It was the same, it just looked a bit different.
Yeah. And it worked different, too, because, they couldn't do the scrolling backdrop thing they did with the Mega Man X game. They had to have different sectioned off areas.
And, I was reading that, that was a real pain at one point where there's one of those, I think it was a heart tank. That's what they're called. At one point, no, it was those lights.
The energy.
Yeah. At one point, you have to collect one of those heart tanks, and it's near almost the exact point where you move on to the next screen, and it's on a platform, which if you don't jump correctly, you end up on the next screen, and then you have to go all the way back from the beginning of the level to get it again.
Oh, that's how it works in different screens? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was hearing the people saying about it. Or I may be misinterpreting it, but that's what he was saying.
Maybe that was meant to entice you to just give in and pay the buck for all the heart tanks.
When I first heard about that, I was just, it's not like it's impossible to get the heart tanks or anything. It's like, why would, even if it's $2, why would you spend on it? That game takes me at least 4 hours to beat.
It kind of reminds me of like I want to say Bob Chipman recently had a Game Over Thinker episode about easy mode and how it's not the worst thing ever if like you're in Mario and they give you an invulnerability raccoon suit or whatever if you suck too much. And basically he was just saying that like it's there for the people who want it, and yeah, most hardcore gamers want nothing to do with it, but we don't need to bother with it, so we shouldn't get up in arms about it.
I'm not getting up in arms, I wouldn't say that, but it's just, like I said, I can understand buying little things, and even if it is buying like the whole heart tanks thing, it just...
And all the weapons, and all the upgrades, and...
Yeah, to me, at least from my sense, because I used to play that game all the time, when I was in school, I love Mega Man X, but it just kind of defeats the purpose. It's like, it's like the skip button in Crossover. It's like, okay, you can play the game, or you can just press this button and just, have a beer.
I think Capcom is included just because they know that someone's gonna buy it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll probably buy it, because...
No, I mean the buying power-ups and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think they just included that just because they know some people are gonna buy it.
I hope they don't continue that trend if they ever do make a Mega Man X9.
Remember, they love money.
Well,
love money more than the fans.
Another thing I wanted to mention about Crossover, and kind of what I was saying a bit earlier about Resident Evil 6, is it's the quality that, and everyone keeps mentioning it about how this could have passed. It's like, it's not like Capcom doesn't know how to make games. Resident Evil 6, for all intents and purposes, is good. I think 4 is a bit better, but that's just my personal preference. But Resident Evil 6, especially the demo, judging by that, it was good. What I don't get is, you have Crossover, it's supposed to be part of the 25th celebration, and it's just like, from what you hear, and from what you kind of saw, it's just like, is this about quality, or are you just kind of doing this as a quick little, here you go?
Well, in their defense, I can't believe I'm coming to their defense, but in their defense, chances are, for the 25th, we would have had Legends 3,
Universe.
Yeah, Universe. Why was I about to say Powered Up? I guess because I want a Powered Up too. But Universe, and we probably would have had that Rockman Online thing. Well, Korea would have had it, but everything's been canceled, so I guess they were trying to rush this out the door. But the problem with rushing it out the door is that all it does is further.
It makes it look like a slapdash effort.
It shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, X6. That's all I'm gonna say. Good lord, that game. If you guys know the story behind that, it was rushed for the holidays.
Well,
and turned out to be... Personally, I hate that more than X7. And X7 is regarded the worst Mega Man game in the franchise.
What about
you can literally take the final boss down in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
Sounds like my kind of Mega Man game. I suck at classic Mega Man.
No, this
Same
is
here.
X. So, taking all this into consideration, let's talk a bit about whether we think fans should support this game or not, because, let's face it, it's kind of a catch-22.
Well, good news is that it's apparently going to be free to play. Like, you could just download it for no charge, and the rest
true.
is going to be just you buy in-game items through microtransactions. So we can at least download it, but then we could purposely not buy anything from the in-game shop, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's that sort of thing. A lot of things on the iPod. With Mega Man X, the port. I'm gonna say you can buy like all the heart tanks and stuff like that. And someone mentioned before, well, with the iPod, people buy because it's like $2. You're gonna buy it. It's like, oh, it's nothing. But at the same time, the whole context of the game, everything about it isn't exactly winning fans over.
Right. The thing about Capcom, though, I mean, yeah, it's true what Nathan's saying about how picking it up won't exactly give Capcom money, but the thing that Capcom is known for doing is, yeah, Capcom isn't exactly known for interpreting data correctly, because
if they had, they would.
If we buy this game,
if you buy it, then they're gonna assume, oh wow, I guess people really like this game, even if that's not the case.
Even if you aren't even buying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we decide not to buy it because we don't want to support this half-hearted game, Capcom may think there's no money in the franchise anymore. At the same time, though, if we decide to pick up this game because we want to support the Mega Man franchise, Capcom may just attribute the sales to the crappy iOS game and continue the ill treatment towards Mega Man, unfortunately.
But, like I said, the game's free, so you can download it and then just not pay any more money. Just, you have the game, you're playing the completely free, they aren't making a cent, so I'm sure they'll have a metric for how many downloads there are, and as opposed to how much money they're making off the game. So if everyone has the game but they aren't spending any money on the microtransactions, I think that would send a powerful message.
Yeah,
right.
In my opinion, it still wouldn't look good in the long run, though, if they can really count down how many people are picking up the game.
It's hard to tell too, because it's that businessman aspect that's mentioned by a lot of developers. That's sort of, they would twist that around. I'm not saying Capcom would do it, but there is that fear that like you said, oh, if we buy it, oh, that means, oh yeah, they must like it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't buy it, oh, that must mean they hate it. Well, we tried.
Yeah, it's really hard to comprehend Capcom's thinking, unfortunately.
I think that's kind of like Rare too, with the whole Connect Sports.
Well, it's not Rare's fault so much as it is Microsoft. I thought that it wasn't Rare's decision to go and make a bunch of Connect games. It was Microsoft's orders.
That's right. Which that businessman sort of aspect. So for lack of a better word, I'm going to say that, but. Yeah. It's
aggravating because this businessman mentality you keep mentioning, it basically seems heck bent on misinterpreting everything to where it hurts both the company and the fans. And it's just like as if their job was to make terrible decisions.
Right.
I know, right.
What gets me though is, I for the life of me, I cannot understand why some people do that. Is like, I understand defending a company to a point, some of their aspects, like some people will still defend Capcom saying the cancellation was probably just, but it's some of those people, like, they'll start pulling out, oh, well, they'll talk about the sales, and they'll talk about business aspects, and going back to what I said on the it wasn't the Rob Man podcast, but I said this before, and I said, there's one thing I miss about old school gaming, so to speak, is that mentality was not there. Like, people just play games because they have fun, not because of, oh, well, it sold well. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to go up to...
We didn't have access to sales figures and stuff, and we couldn't spend all our time arguing about stuff we really don't actually have any idea about.
Yeah, it's arguing more or less for the sake of just winning the argument, and that sort of completely misses the point. Some will say, oh, the fans do that too, but I've seen more on the opposite side defending the business people. That side is more or less what I see.
Mm-hmm.
That's commonplace, and it's just weird because, like I said, it's simple times. People play games because, whether it had a good story, whether the gameplay was fun, whether there was just whatever aspect that appealed to whoever, right? But I'm starting to get concerned that sort of thing isn't being as relevant anymore. Like some of the
game developers, you mean?
Not just the game developers or the businesses, but just overall to people too. Like whether you're a fan, whether you're a hardcore casual gamer, mostly. I don't want to say casual gamer, but it's hard to put it. Like a casual gamer trying to be this hardcore person. If that makes sense. Like I said, I've gotten into arguments with that before, but
I'll bet we all have. Yeah.
But yeah, that business aspect is when you have that being the top priority, profit and all that. That's basically when things you can't be creative. You can't really, developers can't make what they want. And you have also those fans, saying, oh, you gotta make stuff appealing to me, which developers are trying to do. Not like, I wouldn't say, who can I use an example? Inafune, yeah, he's trying to make games that he enjoys, he enjoys making, so even if it flopped or it was the greatest seller, it's still something he wanted to do.
Yeah. Thank God.
What I'm really excited about is how, since the Kickstarter happened, these developers have a new outlet for getting the funding for their games. And you see things like, just recently, a bunch of ex-Rare developers want to make a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. And they say, okay, if we can get some support, find out for sure that people actually want it, follow our Twitter, then we'll start a Kickstarter for it, and then we can make this game whether publishers would back it or not.
Oh, sorry.
The downside is that, what people want a lot of the time is things that are, sequels to IPs that are owned by certain companies. Like, we want Legends 3 as a perfect example. And no matter what Inafune does, you can't start a Kickstarter for it because that's Capcom property. So.
Right. I think, I used to say that I said this before to Ryan Showers when I had that podcast with him before. If there was anything I would admit being a fanboy to, it'd probably be Nintendo. But more on the lines of, I just like the way they go at the business where, they do take those risks. They do try to make games they enjoy. They also try to make games that appeal to certain fan bases.
That's exactly right.
And for the most part, at least recently, they seem to be treating their fans rather well. I mean, you look at Project Rainfall, and they convinced Nintendo of America to release Last Story and Xenoblade Chronicles, both great games, by the way, stateside. Obviously, they haven't always been like this. I mean, there's still no Mother 3 stateside, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
They listen more often than other game companies tend to.
Yeah. Well, and they go at it in such a way that there's still that little line of respect. Like, even if they said, well, not that some people have a problem with Reggie, I don't know for sure what the deal is, so I can't really say much on that. But there's still, even if they say no, there's that aspect that they're still trying to be polite about it. And, like I said, you can call me a fanboy or whatever, but that's just how it looks to me from that perspective. And I think that's probably what companies should sort of aim for. Not to be more like Nintendo, but to be that sort of open about it.
To respect their fans.
Yeah, to respect their fans, but also, like I said, I believe even if you're a fan, respect should go both ways. You respect the developers who make the games you enjoy, and vice versa, they'll respect you.
Of course, what that boils down to is you need to see some respect on the developer side first. Yeah.
Like, they're the ones putting the games out, and, they're trying to make a game that you enjoy, and, it'll catch your attention, even if it's a few people, but from those few people, it can escalate to something bigger.
Look at the size of the tangents we've been on.
But,
yeah, I think we're pretty much finished here.
Yeah. Truth be told, should fans support crossover?
I guess what it boils down to is, like everything else with Capcom, it's your own discretion. If you feel like downloading this game would be a bad idea for sending a message to Capcom, a good idea if you don't care. It's all really up to you.
There is really no right answer, so just do what you feel is best.
Right, but it also helps make your intentions clear, like...
Yeah, of course.
Because some people will just buy the game in the hopes of saying, oh, see, I bought a Capcom, can you make something, you know, could you make Mega Man Legends 3 now? And Capcom, or really those businessmen, will probably say, well, we'll see about it.
We keep saying buy, though, and I keep getting hung up on the fact that it is free to download.
No, oh, sorry, yeah, I guess I should, I actually forgot about that little detail. Well, not little detail, but yeah, I forgot about that, but yes. If you want to download it or contribute to the chips from the, you know, how much is it going for the extras?
I don't know how much the microtransactions are going to be, but...
Well, it'd probably be like the gems in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you know, it's like, 99 cents for, let's say, 10 chips. Probably. But yeah, just keep in mind that it is, and it's a warning more or less, even if you download the game, even if you contribute some money, do so only if you actually really want the game. Because if you're doing it, saying in the hopes of Mega Man Legends 3 or Universe or anything coming out, kind of, especially given the track record, maybe not the best bet.
I got this decision made easy for me. I don't have any iOS devices. I have no choice in the matter.
Oh, it works out for him. But yeah, that's really all that can be said. Alright guys, so before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Yeah, if you guys have any ideas for new Neo DEVROOM events or just new promotional ideas in general, shoot us a message on our page. If you're looking at our page's banner, it's right below Mega Man's Walnut's foot, so the button's not hard to miss. And like our page, follow our Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, join the Steam group, which is relatively new. Yeah, and pick up Morishita Reika's new songs. They're only $1 a piece on Amazon and iTunes. They're sweet songs. It's totally, 3 times worth of money. And, of course, join the DEVROOM, and don't try to get a server bot number because the system is down again.
And in case anyone's interested, she also has a Facebook page now, so I'll post a link to that in the description box. But so, guys, just remember, legends never die! Did we mention everything that needs to be mentioned?
I hope Volnut's cameo in Xover doesn't suck. That's all I gotta say.
He's a background character. That means he's special. Oh, God.
You just see him as you run past on your constant march forward.
Not even that. It's just like at one part of the game it glitches and he shows up for some reason. But then he quickly disappears.
But then it'd feel like some sort of a tease.
Yeah, so. Well, I guess. Well, a static version, and Capcom can justify it's just saying, see, we still love him.
I don't know.
It's